district and school priorities. Okay, pre and post testing, and I can only speak to what Jefferson and Lewis County has done. We gathered a team of people together over the summer in all the areas except for theater initially, until I called BOCES and pitched kind of a little fit and said, why isn't theater involved? And so they gave me 24 hours to put a theater team together to write the theater pre and post test. Most of the schools in our district have bought into the whole package of these assessments. So that's what our region's doing. I did talk to Todd Green at BOCES on Friday before I left home, and other schools will be able to purchase the theater test that we created this summer if that is useful. So again, we'll put that information on the website so you can get in touch with BOCES and Jefferson Lewis if that pre-post test is something you're interested in seeing. Our test that we created for theater was that full year arts requirement. So the full year class, we created a pre-post for that.
Just to add something to that as well, when checking the state website about all this information, one of the things that struck me is that there are things available like the approved teacher rubrics and other forms of assessment, and that they're all for sale,
Yes.
Which I find very interesting. So that at first when I heard that your district was doing that, I was sort of surprised, but that seems to be the model, is that people are not going to be sharing these things, they're going to have to pay for these things. Question?
Yes.
In other parts of the state, there are regions that have gotten together and are sharing. So there will be representatives of different districts, and they formed a group, and then they did a work study over the summer to create pre-assessments. So I know that that's going on in ELA or in Ohio region.
So for those of you maybe who didn't hear, is just that some people are getting together and sharing or collaborating work. But are you posting that somewhere so that people can access it, or?
That's whoever are the authors of the documents that were contributed, they can share amongst themselves, but we're kind of collaborative bunch. So if I could make the session, I could call my colleague, and there could be some directives or whatever it is. But within districts, we're also pooling questions together for pre-assessments and working in grade level teams to create some of the assessments.
So what we're hearing is that, again, teachers are doing what we know teachers do so well. They're collaborating, they're working together, they're sharing information. I still, I mean, again, it's significant that the state is not reaching out to you and saying, oh, you've got something that you'd like to share, we'll put it on our website, right? That what is on the website is, these are the things that are for sale, contact these people to buy them.
It should also be made clear that not all regions have prepared all subject courses. When Christy and I were working with Jefferson and Lewis County BOCES, it was made clear that Onondaga-Madison, United BOCES had also been working on a certain number of tests, but it was the first couple of days it was made very clear to us that we are not to share these because they are proprietary program, and that so much so that we signed confidentiality notice that we would not share the questions that we created. And we did not create a pre and post test. We created a bank of questions from which the regional BOCES punched in, drop a hat, or whatever to create pre and post tests.
Well, and I did something a little different with theater. And they're going to allow me to share, and I'm going to share really quick kind of what the theater test looked like, which is not, I didn't do any extra tests. I said, this is what's going to be on the test, and this is what I submitted with the team. It wasn't just me. Victoria Harder and Lori Dewey from Rochester worked on that team. This just kind of goes through the steps that BOCES used to create these assessments. We did a prioritization of standards. And basically what we did is we went through every standard and picked the 2 indicators that we felt covered everything that we thought was most important. And I think we did a really good job with that because we tried to pick the standards that really encompassed a lot, or the indicators that encompassed a lot, because some of them are a little repetitive in the indicators. So then we did an item map creation, which I'll share with you. Then we test designed, we did the question writing and question review. And right now we're just waiting for test printing and delivery. They're having some issues. the answer sheets right now. So none of us have been able to, even in our district that purchased all of the tests, K-12, from regional BOCES, we can't see them yet. So we we're given a deadline of October 5th, but those tests are not available to us yet, so not sure what's gonna happen there. So this is small, and I'm sorry, but I will try to read it to you. So 50% of our test questions come under Standard 1-3, use language techniques of sound production, articulation, gesture, posture, that whole one. 50% of our questions on the test focus around that standard. 15 around E, which is make acting, directing, and design choices that support and enhance the intent of this class, school, or community productions, because we felt those two really encompassed, performance-wise, the best. We had 4 days to do this, by the way, so it was crazy. 5 days for the rest of the people, but we did theater in 4. So standard 2, 4% of the questions were on using theater technology. 4% was understanding the jobs, the vocation, and avocations in the theater. Under standard 3, 15% was on articulating and understanding interpretation and evaluation theater pieces as drama and as a realized production using appropriate critical vocabulary. 7% was under 4B, using basic elements of theater, speech, gesture, costume, explain how different theatrical productions represent the cultures for which they're from, and 5% was on articulating the societal beliefs, issues, and events of specific theater productions. So we felt that, yes?
Are we not using standards anymore?
We are using standards, but when you create a test in the process that they went through, they wanted us, obviously the test has to be no longer than 60 minutes. 2 30-minute sessions. Now I already told BOCES ours is going to be longer than that, sorry, because we have a performance element to our test. And he was like, okay, just make it look like 60 on paper. So we did, and then we had a note that said, teachers, we need more time. That's what we did. We kind of played the radical theater people because we came in late to this whole process, so they were just kind of like, oh yes, and then there's the theater people over there. So we kind of pushed the limits a little bit. But yeah, you are still using standards. We just tried to pick the ones that really encompassed as much as possible in each the indicator that encompassed the most.
But in general, at the state level, aren't they getting away from those little standards and going to Common Core?
There's still standards, and we still have to acknowledge them in our lesson planning, in addition to the Common Core.
In addition to?
Correct.
Not in place of?
No. Okay? I think I have one more slide, sorry. Okay, so here's the test design for theater. We have 15 multiple choice that deal mostly with vocabulary, jobs in the theater, those things that you can test with multiple choice. We have 2 short responses. We have 2 extended responses and 1 open scene. I'm going to be honest, we modeled it very closely after what's sitting on the shelves at the State Education Department, because we feel that that test would work perfect for pre and post testing, and the commissioner has shelved it. So
can we maybe just give a little bit of context to that, and also related to the visual arts and music and dance?
Yes, all the state organizations have asked several times to Leslie Owen at the State Education Department what's going on with us, with all those assessments we worked on for years. And basically what we have been told is that the commissioner has shelved the project. What I'm understanding the reason to be is they're waiting for the national art standards to come out so that we can make sure that that assessment is in line with the national and the new national art standards.
Why wouldn't it be?
It will be. It will be, I'm sure.
And those assessments were created, were commissioned by the state education, am I correct? And so teams from all 4 of the disciplines worked on those for a number of years, created these assessments, and now they're just being held because they're still they're waiting for the national.
Right, and a lot of people in this room worked on that assessment process. So, yeah, I'll keep my personal comments out, yes.
Do they have any idea when the national standards are coming out?
According to the last thing that I saw, national standards are supposed to be available and ready December 2012. so in a few months.
I have one other follow-up question on this. My understanding is that there are no New York representatives on the National Curriculum Committee team. Is that for theater? Is that correct?
That is correct.
What about, do either of you know for visual arts or music whether New York State has representation at that level?
No, I don't know about who's representing us at the national level. I just know what the state has done, and NYSATA, our teachers have done similar things that you're describing.
My information about NYSSMA is very similar. I'm not aware of who, if anyone, is on the National Standards Committee.
So for all of you here today, that might be a useful advocacy point, is to start looking into trying to answer these questions and find out who are these people, and can we contact them? Can we find out?
I have their names.
Okay. So
Yeah.
those will be posted.
I have their names. I have their names because I applied to be on that committee and I was not appointed as part of that committee. So I got a list of the names of people who were, just to see. But yeah.